Hello and welcome back to another Turf Lad video. Today I'm going to be talking about something that took me a long time to understand. And it all starts with the question, what kind of fertilizer should I be putting on my yard? Myself, I would go to Lowe's or Home Depot, any of the big box stores, and I would go to the fertilizer aisle and I would just randomly pick something, throw it down on my yard, call it good. Now, if I was feeling really adventurous and I saw something that said it was going to kill all the weeds in my lawn, I'd be like, great, let's throw that down. It's going to kill all the weeds in my lawn. Once I leveled up a little bit, I realized that what we should be doing is what's called the soil test. And so the one I use specifically, and I've used it for a couple years. It's the only one I've used so far, and it's been wonderful. But the MySoil Soil Test Kit, I order it right on Amazon. It gets delivered to me. And how this works is you just take a couple samples in your yard, which I'll show you here in a minute. There's a little container in here where you mix your dirt up, put it into the container. It comes with a prepaid envelope. You put your container in the envelope, drop it in the mailbox, and you're going to send it off to our friends at MySoil Test, right? Then what happens? They analyze your soil for you, and they send you back a list of all the ranges for all the micronutrients, your pH, and then your NPK, right? So our NPK on all our fertilizer bags when we go to the store, we see something like 3005, right? So 30 nitrogen, 0P, and then 5K. So our nitrogen and potassium. But knowing if our lawn actually needs that or not, the only way to find that out is by doing a soil test. So I'm going to put my soil results on the screen right now. And if you see these, you'll see that my lawn is deficient in mainly two things, right? If we're not talking about micronutrients, you can rag on me in the comments about some of the micros that I'm missing, but we'll fix that. But ultimately, I'm low on nitrogen and I'm low on potassium. So looking at those things, if I'm going to put down something right now to try getting those numbers back up, it's pretty normal for me in the middle of summer here to have a little bit lower than normal nitrogen because it's so hot. We don't fertilize, basically as soon as June starts to get us all the way through. I did put down a little Milorganite to give a little bit of long-acting or slow-acting nitrogen. But really, that's about it. I haven't done any big bursts or anything like that of nitrogen, so it makes sense that my nitrogen's a little low. So using this information, knowing that I'm a little bit low on nitrogen and very, very low on potassium, I'm going to be looking for something that's going to give us a lot of potassium and probably try and get it down now and then probably get one more application just as we're coming out of fall, right before I start giving it any kind of nitrogen in the fall when I start doing my other renovation. Just to really give my grass a little bit of help here. So finding out those two things just really up your lawn game a lot. And it keeps you from going to the store and just buying random products and throwing them down on your lawn, right, blindly. So this helps a lot. So again, I'm going to cut to a little video footage here and just show you how I grab the samples. Generally, I grab from different zones in my yard, whatever my sprinkler zones are. That's how many samples I'll grab. But I'll show you how I do it. Really, it's just using this little dirt probe here. We're going to just push it down, but I'll take you with and we'll check it out. All right, so you got to take your soil probe here, push it into the ground, and then you're going to get about 5 to 6 inches deep. If you can't get that deep, no problem. You just really want to get some soil that's past the top layers through this thatch layer, so you can actually send in your soil, your dirt, and make sure they get an accurate reading. So what I do is I usually get it down to about the edge here of this probe. Each probe is made a little different. And then I dump all the contents into the box that it comes in. And I use that box to kind of mix up all my soils, which gives me an average of my yard. So that's how I do it. And then once I have that, I just basically mix it up, fill up the sample cup, and then that's when you're just going to toss it into the envelope and mail it back. All right, so the last thing I want to touch on with regards to getting your soil tested is choosing your products at the end. So I mentioned that my potassium and my nitrogen were low. Without being a scientist, how do we figure out what product we need to get? Well, so there's two really easy ways to do this. The first is just follow your email recommendation you get from MySoil Kit. So they actually email you a synthetic and a natural version of a product that will help amend your soil for you. So that's the easiest, right? So it does not take a genius to pick something and start amending your soil right away. So my recommendations actually was Yard Mastery's Stress Blend, which is the one I actually ordered, right? Just because it fits perfectly with what I need. A little bit of slow release iron and then tons of potassium. So I just picked up a bag of that, and I think it was a 45-pound bag. But they did also offer me an organic or a natural fertilizer. I didn't use that just because it was a little bit more expensive, and also Yard Mastery I've used many times. I've never had any issues with their products. I've used, the 4th of July one, I think it's called Flagship, a couple times. That one's been wonderful. But generally speaking, you can just take the recommendation that they offer right out of here. I did want something a little bit quicker, so I was looking at my local big box stores to see what they have. And really everything they had just was a big giant dose of nitrogen, which again, I don't want. So looking at the store, again, I was a little deficient on nitrogen, but I do not want a 3000 or anything that's marketed as lawn food right now in the middle of the summer. So a little bit of slow release nitrogen, which the Yard Mastery Stress Blend is, but then really I'm looking for that big mega dose of potassium. So again, two options: follow the recommendations, either the synthetic or the organic, or you can go to your local big box store and find something that has the numbers that align with what you're looking for. But I will say trying to find micronutrients is going to be really hard to do in a big box store. So following the recommendations is usually the best path. So thank you again for joining me in another Turf Lab video. Please hit that like and subscribe button, and thanks for watching.